Hey guys, so for this speed painting, I'm just going to talk a little bit about finding your style, and I'm going to talk about how I found my style because I can talk about what I went through, you know? I can't talk about what you guys are going through, I'm just going to explain what I feel about this. Okay, so I started drawing manga when I was about 10 years old, and before that, I did art, you know, I did my own style, so to speak, but it wasn't really good because I didn't have experience with anatomy, different, colors, blah, 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 blah. I just kind of drew since I was like 6 to 10, and it didn't look good, but I started to like manga, and I got a bunch of books from the library on how to draw manga, and I just started doing that ferociously, and I basically copied all the books. I got as many as I could. I studied all the drawings, and in a sense, that was good because I saw how some people do stuff, but it wasn't for me. But I was trying really hard to copy that and to make that my own. And then I went into furries, and then I went into hyper-realistic art. And basically, for my hyper-realistic art phase, I copied photos with a grid, but it was just not for me. And in a sense, it was good because I learned a little bit about, I don't know, realism a little bit. Not too much, to be honest. But it wasn't for me. And then I started going on DeviantArt, and I found inspiration from artists and photographers. Now, I would save a bunch of the art I found on DeviantArt, and I have a whole folder that has like 400, 500 pieces that I was in love with at that time, and it ranged from hyper-realistic to oil paintings to manga to chibis to, it doesn't really matter. It was just basically my folder for everything that had nice colors, composition, ideas, just kind of my inspiration place, a place I go for inspiration. And that was my folder for art. And then I had another folder, and then that's where I put a bunch of photos that I found on DeviantArt, and they were from really well-known photographers, fashion, photography. And you don't want to replicate, you want to get a similar feel. I don't think it's constructive to just copy one photographer's work or copy one piece of art. And let's be real, I did that too. I took people's actual art and I used the color picker tool to use the same colors they did. I painted the same things they did. But I've never posted those on my social media because I do not believe those are my real art. I literally just copied somebody else's art, and I'm not really proud of them as in like, oh look, this is what I did. No, I basically just copied somebody's art. And those might be good. They might be good for you to figure out how to use colors, lighting, composition. That's fine, I guess. Just don't claim it as your own. And if you do want to post it online, you always have to credit the original artist. It's just something you gotta do. But when I started using photos and other artists' work as inspiration, I didn't really copy them. I just kind of looked at them for like hours at a time, and I said, I like this and this and this about it. And then afterwards, I would put those aside and think, now what can I draw? What can I paint? And it kind of subconsciously just got stuck in my mind, everything that I liked from those, like the lighting, the colors, and I started to paint what I liked. And that's the way I found my style, is just by painting what I liked and having a little bit of knowledge of anatomy. Like, my style is not realistic in the slightest, but I kind of know how to do something realistically, And I would just want to say that style is your originality and personality displayed in your work. That's what I think style is, So if you copy somebody else's art, no offense, that's not originality, and that's not really your personality, because you just copied somebody else's originality and personality. They decided to take that picture and or paint that painting that they did. So I just think that you should actually focus on making it your own. And my advice, which is just my ideas from my experience, if you want to have a certain style that is your own, I would say that copying somebody's work, as I said, is not a helpful thing to do. It's not super helpful. It can be a little bit. I can say that it helped me like 5%, but it didn't really do much for me, It didn't help me at all with my style. It just helped me with anatomy and stuff. And then also, comparison to other artists or photographers or whatever you're into, it's extremely toxic. I do not do that. I will use other photos or artists as inspiration, and I will look up to them, and I will tell myself I will get there at that level one day. But I never compare my current art to that. If they work at something, you're gonna get better at it. So don't compare your current art to somebody else's like beautiful painting that they took 200 hours to do. And I don't compare myself to somebody who actually spends a lot of time on a painting because I know they put in more effort than I do. They were in the same place I was, I'm pretty sure, and I'm better now than I was 3 years ago, and I'm gonna be better in 3 years than I am right now. So there's no use in comparing myself to somebody who has more experience, who might have schooling. I don't know. It's not a good thing to compare yourself to somebody else. You can use them as inspiration. You can say, I look up to that. I think it's great, and try to make it something that you would work towards, but not, something that you compare yourself at the current moment to. But I personally have a Pinterest board where I pin inspiration that is like pretty people. It's pretty things, magical things, like dark things. Like I just have boards on Pinterest that I just use for inspiration, or we heart it. Sometimes I don't know what to paint or draw, and I just go and we heart it, and I'm like, that looks cool. Okay, now what can I paint? And it's kind of, I look at something and I get a feeling in my brain, and then I paint something based on that feeling. It's not really like I'm copying an actual photo. For this painting that I'm painting right now, I did use the photo for inspiration, but I just looked at it for 2 minutes, and then I was like, okay. And I didn't really look at it at all for the rest of the painting, because the actual painting looks absolutely nothing like the picture I used for inspiration. And I think what you could do to develop your style is don't think about developing it. Don't actively seek it. Just paint often and paint what you like. That's, I think, key. And do not follow trends just because they are popular. Because honestly, in 6 months, nobody will actually care. And if you didn't like what you did, you just did it because it was a trend, you are not going to like that art. And I can just speak from experience because I have done that. I followed trends, and then months later, I was like, why did I even do that? I spent time on something that it's not popular anymore. I didn't much care for it. I just did it because it was popular, and nobody really cares anymore. I can't say I learned much from those experiences. If something is popular and you like it, you actually liked it genuinely before it was popular, go ahead and do it. That's totally fine. Because after it's not popular anymore, you are still gonna like that. You're still gonna know that at that time, I really love that. So I'm fine with having done it. But don't do anything just because it's popular, What makes a style different is that it's unique, it's your own. People are going to like something that is original. It's not, trends are great and everything, but once you see something drawn, painted, photographed 200 times, it gets a little bit old, and you're kind of sick of it. People like something that is new, it's original, it's fresh, So that's just my advice on that. And developing a style takes time, but just don't think about it. And that was about it, guys. That was my rant on finding your style. I hope it was helpful, and if it was, please hit the thumbs up button. And subscribe if you want to see more, and if you want me to talk about something in particular, just comment it down below, and I will read it, and if I can do it, I will do it. So, thank you for watching. Bye!